Cyrus from Cyrus Gaming Spot here, and I'm joined by Swordfish3090 and Daniel Santos here for talking about Silent Hill 4, The Room. No, not that room. Though probably be entertaining if it was that room.
Oh, hi, Henry.
Give me a parts, Konami.
For today's video, we're going to talk about, from what I've known, is the last Team Silent game original developers did before they disbanded, right?
Yes,
this is it? Yeah.
Yeah, this is the last one.
Yeah. And it's Silent Hill 4. And from what I've heard, like, well, at least on terms of fan community, it seems like this is the most divisive game in the series, I think.
You could say that.
At least out of
Yeah.
all the Team Silent games, I mean. I'm not counting the other Silent Hill games made by...
amongst the Team Silent entries, Silent Hill 4 is the black sheep.
Mm-hmm. And I played it like last week, around the 15th. Or... yeah, 13th, the 15th, 16th. And I can see why it is as controversial as it is, at least gameplay wise.
I do want to say though that perceptions surrounding Silent Hill 4 have certainly softened over the years. The reaction to it was, the backlash to it was much harsher when it first came out because it was this fresh release that people were not expecting. Silent Hills 1, 2, and 3 were all a certain way, and then 4 decided to just do so many different things.
From what I've heard, it wasn't even supposed to be a mainline game, right? It's supposed to be like
that's a bit of a misnomer.
Misnomer?
No, okay. So there is a little something to that. So during the very early planning stages of the game, the idea was thrown around, to make a horror game that wasn't Silent Hill related. But once they actually started development, it was determined at that point that it was going to be a Silent Hill game. So it's not like they made half the game and then arbitrarily decided, oh, we're gonna make it Silent Hill. That's not what happened.
Okay. Silent Hill 4. Now, I think the most interesting part of the game has, well, most notably to do with the room part of the title.
Yeah. Because
the main premise of the game is basically you're Henry. Basically, I don't really know much about Henry except that he's just a normal everyday dude who just rented the room.
So he didn't rent the room. It's his apartment.
His apartment, yeah.
But yeah, I think it's what's interesting about him is that compared to all the other Silent Hill protagonists, he's just a guy that just happened to be there.
He's just unlucky. He's just really unlucky.
It's just wrong place, wrong time. Like it could have been anybody that got that room.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah. And you could kind of make a similar argument for Harry, but I feel like even Harry, he had more of a reason to be, in Silent Hill because that's his daughter, right? He's gonna save his daughter. Sure, it happened to be him that adopted that girl, but there is definitely more purpose behind Harry as opposed to Henry. He's literally just living his life, and then all of a sudden, just oh shit, I'm stuck in my room. I have to fight my way through nightmare worlds.
The premise is that you're just Henry. You're just renting this room. You have this apartment. You didn't think anything odd about it, but then one day you suddenly see just a bunch of these chains on your doors, and you can't open any of the windows, and you're essentially trapped. And the premise of the game essentially is that you're trapped in your room. You with no way to go outside, and essentially you're just figuring out ways on how to rectify this situation. I think throughout some time, slowly find this hole, Just like any Silent Hill character, they go through the hole.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong, dude. You're not wrong. So yeah, a weird hole appears in his bathroom, and he gives us his classic line of "What the hell?"
What the hell?
And to be fair,
there's not much
a
you
hole
can do.
appearing in your bathroom is pretty weird.
Yeah, but
kind of an expected reaction.
And he has to go for it. Well, there's nothing else he can do at the situation. He's totally trapped in his room.
Yeah, I mean, if I were in his situation, I'd probably go through the hole as well, just because. What the fuck else are you gonna do?
Yeah, are you gonna sit there and starve to death in your apartment? I mean, like, pick your poison.
It's like at least if you crawl through the hole and you end up in these nightmare worlds, at least you have some fighting chance.
Yeah. But anyway, I think like once you go through the hole, you're essentially going through the other world into. Like, the whole situation is like, at least for the first half, you're going through the hole to these other worlds, essentially.
Yes.
It's not like in Silent Hill 1, 2, and 3, where there's this overlying overworld to it. How the gameplay loop basically goes is like, you're essentially going to the hole, explore this other world, this other mini world, and then when you reach the end to it, and go back to the hole, you go back to your room, because like your room essentially works like home base for you in the first half.
Yeah.
You go back to it, that's where your storage is, and this game has a storage system where there is a certain amount of items you can carry on you, and you have to go back and forth between the other world and the room in order to manage your inventory well, so that you can get all the items you need at the time. And the home base is where you also heal, because like when you go back from the other world to your room, you actually heal automatically. So like it serves as a safe haven throughout your forays into the other world, essentially.
Yeah, and for the first half of the game in particular, the game is trying to establish this positive relationship between you and the room. Because if you think about it, isn't that kind of how it is with your own home, right? Like, you go out to work, you go out to school to work or whatever, you go through like the trials and tribulations of your day, and then you come back home and you recharge, because your home is, the place where you have the most control over. It's a place where you can rest, do your business, relax, all that good stuff. And it's the same thing, albeit done in a video game sense, with the room in Silent Hill 4, where if you look at it like in a thematic way, going out to the nightmare world and coming back to your room, it is kind of replicating your day-to-day life, in the real world.
The room is where you heal. The room is where you're in first person, which does make it a much more intimate place to be in comparison to the others. And it's the only place in the first half where you have some sort of normalcy. You see like everything's normal. You can see the outside world still through your windows, even if you can't open the windows to exit the room. You see like everyday life is still functioning essentially around you. You can still go see through your peephole to see either your neighbor or the superintendent is wondering what you're up to, since they haven't heard anything from you. Since like how you can't enter through the room, they can't hear anything coming from your room too.
Yeah, there's a cutscene early on where Henry is looking at his peephole, and Eileen, who is his direct neighbor to his right, and the superintendent, Frank Sunderland, who is actually James Sunderland's dad, which is a funny reference. They're out there, having a conversation. He's like banging on the door, yelling, "Help! Get me out of here!" And they don't hear him. So there's clearly some shenanigans afoot.
And like through the people, you can see handprints on the wall, which apparently only you can see because of the Silent Hill shenanigans.
it was just me that felt this, but even though the room itself is very comforting in the first half, there also is still this like level of oppression because you have all these like chains like completely like on your door, so it still almost feels a little oppressive too. So it doesn't really completely you don't like you feel that comfort of getting away from the nightmare world, but it doesn't also feel like you're completely free either, because you always have that door staring at you with the chains and the words saying don't go out, and it still manages to feel a bit unsettling too.
For sure. And you do have to remember, when you very first like hit start and start a new game, you're actually presented with a nightmare. And in the nightmare, the apartment is completely infested with rot and blood and rust, and it's just like, it looks like your typical like Silent Hill 1 dungeon. And at the end of the dream, you're attacked by a ghost and you're killed. So even at the very start of the game, it's already like kind of foreshadowing and implanting this idea that you are safe here for the most part, but there is still something wrong with this room. So you can't forget about that. Like, it's really fascinating how it lulls you into this like false sense of security, even though there is still this like in the back of your mind, still this like kind of looming threat that never really goes away. And in fact, by the second half, the game gets worse.
Yeah. Like, something's wrong, but as well, this is still a safe place at the time and still.
Yeah. And because you need it, like, especially in like a gameplay capacity where you get your health back there, you can put away your items there. And it also works in terms of pacing, because you as the player, you're able to establish your own pacing. You're the one that gets to decide until you reach the end of the level, but otherwise you're the one that's able to decide when you want to go back to the room. And by allowing you that level of agency to like establish your own pacing, it really cements just like how important the room is, to the player. And I think, again, that works really well in lulling you into that false sense of security again, where you feel safe there, and you get your health back, and you can just kind of relax there, save your game before jumping back into the fray.
Let's now talk to the first otherworld area we go, which is the subway, which is where we meet Cynthia, I think. Yeah, Cynthia.
Yeah, Cynthia.
Cynthia.
Now, like, when you first beat her, she thinks this is all just a dream.
Which is fair.
Yeah, which is fair. And then she essentially tries to convince Henry to just basically guide her, like go with her throughout the subway. But
yeah, she offers him a special favor.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, hey, why not? You're in a nightmare world, so.
That's what she said. She's like, hey, if this is a dream, I might as well have fun.
Yeah. But then not far off, near the washrooms, like, she suddenly feels very ill. Like, very ill, to the point where she has to go to the washroom. And then Henry's just left there waiting until eventually some creature comes out of the men's bathroom, which is the first enemy you see, which are these dogs with long tongues, I think.
Yeah, what's interesting about those enemies too is that they will use their long tongues as this kind of like tube almost that they use to like suck up blood from their own kind, which is really weird. And I think it kind of speaks to, well, we haven't gotten to where these manifestations are stemming from, because in Silent Hill 1 it was Alessa, in Silent Hill 2 it was James, in Silent Hill 3 it was Heather. We don't know yet in Silent Hill 4 like where all of the spooky stuff is coming from, but I think this kind of evokes this weird idea of like these are like parasites in a way, that like these are like like I said, parasites. They're like they're taking the life force away from like other creatures. So it gives you a bit of insight of like what it is that bothers the person that that conjured them.
And I think like they're blind too, since you can if you run they'll hear you, but if you walk,
Yeah, that's right. You can walk past them, and if you hold down the circle button, I don't think they'll notice you.
Yeah, I actually didn't know that for the longest time because my instinct is always, oh, I'm gonna go fight them. But no, yeah, you're right. You can just like walk by them and they won't bother you.
Essentially, we go to where Cynthia is, but you don't see her. You just see, I think, another hole which you can crawl back to.
Right. That's the first opportunity the game gives you to go back to your hole. And the way that the hole looks when you're exploring the nightmare worlds has like these kind of like weird like symbols around the perimeter of the hole.
Is this the time where James discovered the people in his room?
Oh, well, I think I don't remember that is when that happens, but when you do go back to the hole for the first time, he wakes up and then he's like,
oh, it's a dream.
Yeah, so I do think that's interesting because you would think he would be crawling back out of the hole from the bathroom, but he doesn't. He wakes up in his room. So it kind of gets you to think like, oh, okay, so it kind of reveals the nature of what these worlds are. They're dreams, they're nightmares, but obviously through manifested through the power of Silent Hill. I think you might be right. I think that is like when, so there's a dresser in the living room, and it's moved out of place. When Henry moves it, he can find a gun, but more importantly, there's like this weird black patch or carving in the wall.
It's like somebody's trying to get out of the room by smashing through the wall, essentially.
Right, and that was the previous tenant, Joseph Schreiber, and he left a note basically saying that he was trying a way to like get out, and it failed, but he made just enough of a hole that he could like peep through and see what his neighbor Eileen was doing, and you as the player can use that to spy on her, which I think is pretty creepy. Like, when you're playing the game, you don't think about it too much because you're just like, oh, it's just a thing to do when you're in the room. But like, if you take a step back and like think about it, it's like you're just like spying on this woman.
Yeah, it's like very voyeuristic in a way.
Yeah.
Not in a way, it's 100% voyeuristic.
Yeah, it is voyeuristic. I meant more so like in the context like Henry has no other option, like he's trying to get it. So it's not like he's like literally trying to be a creep or anything. It's not like what he's doing. But yeah, like it is very voyeuristic.
Yeah. Although, to be fair, in Henry's defense, you're the one that's making him do it. So you can ignore the people for the whole game if you want to.
True. Yeah, that's a good point.
But like, I think voyeurism is a theme of the game because you're not just able to peep on Eileen. If you look out your window, you can also see
your neighbors, all your neighbors, what they're doing.
That's right. Yeah.
And your neighbors are weird. Right? Like, when you look out your window, like, sometimes they're just doing weird stuff, and you're just like, what are they up to?
Why is this kid just bouncing on his bed all the time?
There's one guy, Richard Braintree, where sometimes you can just catch him just, like, putting his hands in his face. And I think that says, like, he's like a person that's dealing with something. Or maybe he's disturbed, maybe he's just genuinely stressed out. But like, I think it does at least imply like there's something wrong with him. And then you actually meet him later on. We'll get to that, but like, it is interesting that this game has this recurrent idea of like spying on others when they don't realize that you're seeing what they're doing, and the way that people act when they don't think anyone is watching them is very different compared to when they are being observed.
Once you do that and go back, you suddenly see in one of the stalls there's like this weird mannequin with like blood on it. And then,
Yeah. Cool
That's
shit.
right.
Very cool visual.
Which is makes you wonder: is this Cynthia? Is what happened to her? But you're not really sure. But then with this mannequin, there's just like these subway tokens, which is the way you go forward. And then you explore the subway more. Throughout the subway, you also see these weird, like, worm things infesting the area as well, along with the dogs.
Oh yeah, and you can even attack it, and it'll make like grunting sounds, and it, like nothing happens. It's so happens. Unsettling. It's so creepy.
It seems like part environment, but living, unlike the other part of the environment.
I think it's literally called like the hungry worm or something like that. Yeah, really interesting. We'll get to it later, but that does have like a really interesting like symbolism to it that connected to the person that's like conjuring this stuff.
In order to progress forward, you have to use the token in order to go through one of the stills, in order to go to the actual subway. And then once you go to the subway, this is where you meet the most famous enemies of the game. The ghosts.
Everybody's favorite enemy.
The ghosts. Yep. Now, these not the super ghosts that you might have heard where they chase you. These ghosts just hang around in this one area. But like they are really annoying since you can't kill them. And if they're near you, they can damage you a bit. Like, I don't think it's too much damage. At least normal difficulty is not too much damage. But
it like chips away your health like by pixels. It's really nothing.
But it can be annoying, especially in the later half of the game.
I imagine if you're playing this game on hard, that the ghosts, because like the ghosts are more of a nuisance on easy and normal. I can imagine on hard that they're like, okay, you really got to watch out for them.
But you see all these ghosts are going from like manifesting from the walls. And then,
so that's something I always thought was really cool, because like when you think of a ghost, they just phase through walls. But I really like how these ghosts, it looks like they're like really forcing themselves like through, like almost like they're coming outside of like the nightmare world, and they have to like physically like force themselves into the nightmare world. Really cool stuff.
Yeah, great visuals overall, I think.
Yeah, I mean Silent Hill 3 I think looks better, but Silent Hill 4 still.
I agree.
Silent 4 still great.
It's more so like I was like more so like the imagery and like the surrealism of like the ghosts coming out of the walls, like things like that. I think like Silent Hill 4 looks like really good in that respect. And other stuff that we're gonna like I'm not gonna say it just yet, but like the head, I think we all know
I know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah, so yeah, the imagery I think in Silent Hill 4 is just really well done.
And then when eventually you go to the subway, and then you meet Cynthia, and she's trapped in the train. So then you have to find a way to free her, which you do by going to like, I'm not sure if it's technically the back or front of the train, but you go to either ends in order to find the lever to open the subway door.
Yeah.
And then she's your companion, sort of.
For like a minute.
Yeah, for like a minute.
Yeah.
Basically, you go for the subway, like the actual subway, in order to go to the other side. It's like this sort of maze-like navigation, since not every door is open, so you have to navigate your way through subways, and some items are blocking your way, so you have to navigate around them. But then you reach to the other side of the subway, to the platform, and go to this room which is it's just tinted red, and it would just give you this foreboding feeling that something's odd is coming up. And what's more foreboding is you don't see Cynthia anywhere now. She didn't go with you in the room.
Yeah, she just kind of disappears.
She just disappears. It's another chance for you to go back to the hole, but you don't need to, but you can if you want to recover your health, which you probably want to, and especially if you want to save, since the room is the only way you can also save in the game, which is why it make it feel more like a safe haven as well. even though
Yeah,
it is,
the holes essentially the holes essentially double up as like save points, and in a sense.
yeah, like the room is essentially the safe haven, even though you know something's up because of what you saw at the beginning, as well as the fact that you're essentially imprisoned in the room.
Yeah, for the first half of the game in particular, it really incentivizes you to make like frequent trips back to the room, and then that also allows them to leave notes and stuff, right? Which also brings up the question, where do all these fucking notes come from? But on top of that, you'll also start seeing little randomized events. So you'll look through the peephole, someone's on the other side, like cleaning up or something.
Yeah.
You'll look up the window, you'll see your neighbors, they'll be doing something different. You might look at Eileen. Eileen is like doing a different activity. She might be watching TV, you know, she might be getting ready for her party or whatever. So like even just beyond the gameplay benefits, just coming back to the room, you're incentivized to want to just like, oh, what's all the new little events that I can see, right? Like all the little weird stuff that my neighbors are doing. Even if it's not like explicitly beneficial to you gameplay wise, it pulls you in and makes you feel like you're a part of the world. And it also puts you in Henry's shoes because Henry would want to get away from like the insanity of like the nightmare worlds, and just like probably seeing what his neighbors are doing makes him feel like a little bit more normal, where he's like, it's like, let just get my mind off of like killing monsters and stuff, and let me just see what my neighbors are doing, make me feel like, you know, the world hasn't gone completely insane.
But yeah, like there are a bunch of events that you can see if you just like explore around every time you go back into the hole. Like Daniel said, like there's like if you look through your main peephole on your door, you see Eileen's like first time like sweeping around the floor, which is what a good neighbor. You don't need to do that probably, but
yeah. And when that happens, you just hear like a weird sound too, and you're just like, what is that? And then it's just like, oh, it's just her sweeping, and that's, I don't know. I always really like that. It's a cool like moment because you think it's way more important than it actually is.
And then like, sometimes you see the superintendent coming on to check on you, and then you just see him walking across the room, keeping watch on your room specifically.
Yeah. Henry, it's the superintendent.
And then like sometimes you get the notes from him, and then you get these notes from, you don't know who the sender is. But
I remember actually when Frank tried to give you a note and you try to open it, and it's like it's too bloody to read.
Back to the red room. Once you go in there, feels like you're sent to another more horrified version of the subway, I think.
In a way, yeah.
Yeah. Like everything's much more rustier and much more run down.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you go to the dreaded escalator.
Oh man.
You meet this wall specters, essentially.
The wall monsters.
The wall monsters, yeah. Where they when you go near them, they swipe at you. But like
the hitbox is like fucking insane for that. I remember so many times walking up that thing, and I'm like, that swipe was nowhere near me. How did that knock me on my ass?
The most funny,
it doesn't just knock you, it will like send you flying.
The funniest part is like sometimes it can send you flying upwards toward the escalator.
Yeah. So if you're lucky, it'll actually help you get up the escalator faster.
Yeah, if you know, I mean, I'm sure that's like a speedrun strat. I'm sure like some people know the game really well and they use it to their advantage.
But yeah, it's just this long escalator where you're constantly assaulted by these wall monsters. And it can get unnerving, so they can do a good amount of damage to you during that part.
I would say when you're dealing with the wall monsters, have no shame, whip out your gun, just fucking mark them. You know, like, granted, you don't get like a ton of ammo in this game, especially compared to other games in the series. But like, man, put your pride away, just shoot them.
But speaking of damage, I think this is like the first Silent Hill game where you can see your actual health, and not just like an indicator. Like you actually have a health bar.
Yeah, there's visible health. There's like a visible HUD, like because in the other games you had to go by that little icon in the menu, and it's color coded to tell you how much health you have. This is literally just like a straight up health bar.
Just straight up health bar.
Yeah, and you also get a little charge meter.
Yeah.
But that's not like the only gameplay difference, right? Like there's no radio and there's no flashlight.
Yeah. I feel like there's not much puzzles overall in Silent Hill 4.
There's a couple.
Yeah, the few that are, they're very simple logic puzzles. I feel they can get just for reading through it mostly.
Yeah, they're very simple puzzles, but I think they work for what the game is going for.
Yeah. But for me, for most of it, at least first half, I didn't even engage with any of the enemies. I just ran away from them, which works. And there's not really any bosses in Silent Hill 4.
No, not really.
Bosses. Yeah. There's the final boss, and then there's like one random one they just kind of threw in.
Yeah. Like that made me a bit more weird. Like, when did you give me a boss? Why haven't I fought anything yet? You know?
Yeah, I did miss that about like compared to the other games. Like bosses feel like an event, and in Silent Hill 4, nope. just
like,
nope.
Like I remember like some of my like standout moments in like some of the past games was like fighting Pyramid Head for the very first time, or fighting that giant like worm creature in Silent Hill 3, and it's so imposing and menacing and like just really memorable moments. So it's a little bit of a letdown that Silent Hill 4 didn't really have that.
Yeah. I mean, I will at least say that the final boss, when we'll talk about when we get to it, I do really like the final boss of Silent Hill 4, but
yeah,
the other boss fight is so nothing. It's so forgettable.
Yeah, almost might as well even be there, really.
It might as well not be there.
Yeah.
When you go through the escalator and then go through the other side of the station, essentially, you see all these items scattered throughout the floor, like they belong to a woman's person, like her purses. And like her purse and its contents, and then you see this door that has this placard on it, which you keep, which is an indicator that is probably important later on. And then
well, the placard is called Temptation.
And then when you go into, you see Cynthia, and she's near death, and it looked like she suffered a fatal wound. And then you just see Henry trying to ascertain what happened to her.
Well, he tries to comfort her.
And comfort her at the near the end of her life. But
I also think it's really interesting how he tells her like it's okay, it's just a dream.
It's like
it really breaks.
And a nice like moment of empathy for Henry, who's like pretty like comes off as kind of indifferent to things. So like when he has like a moment of compassion like that, it really resonates.
Yeah, it is a nice moment. And an interesting thing is that she does have a marking on her. It says, well, at the time you think it says 16121. And obviously when you see that for the first time, you have no idea what that means.
After this part, you wake up with Henry thinking it's a really weird dream again.
Yes.
And then like you look through the people, your main door people, you like if you compare contrast, you notice there's one more handprint now on the wall now that Cynthia is dead.
Well, in particular, it compared to the other ones which are dry, this new one is nice and fresh. You can see like the bright red blood.
We just give you like indicator like what these other handprints mean now.
Yeah.
Anyway, once you go back to the hole, you're essentially in this totally different area now compared to the subway. You're now in a forest.
Which, in my opinion, I think this is the worst level in the game.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
Like, it's not like abysmal or anything, but like when you think about the level design of the subway, it's kind of like winding, and it's got some interesting bits to it, and it kind of circles around on itself. I feel like the level design of the forest is very flat. It's got like, you've got the orphanage in the middle, and then you have essentially like 4 pathways that splinter off from it, and that's about it. Like, there's not much to it.
The orphanage is like the central hub of the level, and it just like, okay, go to this path, come back, go to this other branch, come back. Yeah, it's kind of it's pretty whatever.
Yeah. But it does lead to like one of the puzzles in the game that I do think is pretty neat, where
like when you're going through the forest, and then you eventually go to this car. And then this card has some particular interesting notes, particularly about a key that you need. But if you hold on to the key, you be in the state where you'll never be able to progress.
Yes.
Which just go to this interesting puzzle of you having to figure out, in order to progress with the key, you actually need to go to your room to store the key, and then go back to the other world, and then traverse to the area where you need the key, traverse back to your room, get the key, and then be able to use it to go into the orphanage, essentially. And which I think is a really interesting way to utilize the room in a puzzle solving way in conjunction with the other world.
I just kind of wish the game had more stuff like that, where you would go back to the room and you use like the functions of the room in order to progress. The game does do some of that, and this is one of the standouts. Again, I just wish there was a little bit more of that.
I think the only other memorable way they use this is with the telephone. You having to figure out the password, which is like the telephone of this hotel that you can see out of your window in your room.
Oh, it's on this giant billboard.
Yeah, giant billboard.
Yeah, well, that was the bar, not the hotel, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. But traversing through the forest, this is where you meet Jasper. And
who kind of sucks.
He seems very...
Probably the worst character.
He seems very
I think he's not like awful or anything, but he's just kind of nothing. He's just some weird guy that stutters. And he steals your fucking chocolate milk, so that makes him extra terrible.
It's like, hey,
so it's like that's like shit tier at that point.
Do you want to know?
Chocolate milk.
Do you want to know how to get this? I'm very thirsty, you know. I need something chocolatey, you know.
He just stays there like chocolate.
Yeah.
Chocolate milk. And when he drinks, he's like, "Oh man, that was awesome."
Yeah. But yeah,
he's so out of place in such a serious game. He's so
and then the key item that he needs to give you, he doesn't even hand it to Henry properly. He fucking throws it on the ground.
Yeah, I gave you my chocolate milk, bastard. What the hell are you doing?
He sucks.
The
most interesting thing about him is that, like, so after that, when you finally do enter the orphanage, he fucking dies in like the most gnarly way possible, where he's like lit on fire, and then you see him like marking himself, right? So like Cynthia was 16121, and he marks himself like 17121, and he starts going on about like, I saw him, the devil. Like I will grant, like, his death is probably the most like gnarly out of all of them.
You got the Alyssa special, right?
The what?
The burning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, after this, you go back to the room.
Yeah, and I think at this point you start to notice that the whole game kind of takes place in one day, and you start noticing that like it's not quite as bright out. So as the day is progressing, it is starting to get a little bit darker outside. That will start to become more prominent as you progress in the game. But an interesting thing too, I think we skipped over, is that after these people die, there's a radio broadcast talking about it. So again, the game is pulling you into the world more. It's like really making you feel like you're a part of like a real lived-in world where like, yeah, these people that you just met are actually dead, and the radio is talking about like the bodies that were found.
And they're linking it to a past case called the Walter Sullivan case, which you could you probably read about in Silent Hill 2 around the apartment area.
That's right.
Yeah.
And not only that, but hey, the message on your door, doesn't it say "Don't go out"?
Walter.
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit. So like, I think that's one of the cool things about Silent Hill 4 is that it's kind of like a murder mystery type thing.
I was actually just about to bring that up too. Like it's obviously got that horror edge to it, but I found it more of a mystery with like strong horror themes tied to it.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool. That's a really interesting direction to take the Silent Hill series in, and that's something that makes it stand out, because it's not like like the grotesque in your face horror that the past games had. It's more like subdued.
Yeah, and I think it's cool as you play through the game and you're like slowly piecing things together along with Henry.
Now, this time you go through the food hall, and you're noticing it getting slightly bigger for every other world you go into. And this time you hear the voices of children within it, which is can't be good, you know?
Yeah.
And we probably go one more messed up areas in the game. What do you think about it?
Definitely one of the most messed up.
Yeah.
The water prison.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
And then you hear this guy is trapped and asking constantly in order to be let out. Help! Keep me. Oh wait,
Get me the hell out of here!
I forgot. Throughout the forest area, you also see this kid wandering about.
Oh yeah, that's when we see this little kid. You're right.
Yeah,
that's when we first see him.
Yeah, you first see him. Yeah. You're wondering, who's this kid? Why he's wandering around? But then you don't really see him much, but you do know that there's something going on with him. But
yeah.
And then when you go to the water prison, you see a third person who's like basically trapped in a room, and you're basically try to free him essentially, even if he probably doesn't deserve it, given.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't deserve it. You're not wrong about that.
Yeah,
got a point. Yeah.
But essentially, I think the main gimmick to this dungeon is essentially navigating through different floors and trying to. And there's an interesting puzzle. There's this, when you go to the absolute middle, there's like a contraption that allow you to navigate move the rooms, and you have to move the room a particular way where they allow you to go through this particular floor in the basement, which you can only go through if you align the room so that you can jump down from the third floor to the basement, floor by floor.
Yeah, this is like one of the very few puzzles that the game does have. So this is like one of the more like elaborate ones.
How Henry doesn't fall all the way to the basement, I do not know. Since you know,
he caught it.
He caught
the lead.
Yeah.
I think the level design in this one is one of the more interesting, mostly in how you're able to manipulate the floor. I think, which is part of the puzzle. I think the way that you need to think about the physical space, and then check back to your map and make sure that you have the holes aligned so you can go into the basement. I think it's a really great puzzle,
Yeah.
and I think it's just really interesting how like it takes the environment into consideration.
I think it's also one more foreboding places to explore, since you're essentially going through each room, reading like how like this was essentially a place where they imprison kids, and see how they're constantly being surveillance, and see basically the lingering thoughts of these children as they write down their thoughts on either the walls or these pieces of paper down, and which is really foreboding.
Oh yeah, it's so brutal, and it's so foreboding, and even worse when you read the notes by the prison guards, and they're so apathetic about these kids. They're so like, it's like, oh, whatever, we just got to throw the dead kids through the chute or whatever. It's like, well, Jesus, dude, you're talking about children.
Eventually, you go into the kitchen area. That's where you need to go. Like an interesting area. Yeah. And then you unlock it through the code you get through one of the entries, where there's this big room, this room with this generator with a big ass door. Like, what the heck is this? But yeah, like you can't traverse through it. You have to go through it on the rerun, since you do go through these otherworld twice.
Yeah, in the second half.
Yeah, but I do think it is interesting to see. If you see this room with these ridiculous proportions, you're just wondering what the heck's going on. But anyway.
that is something cool about the first half. Is there is stuff that you're not meant to understand yet, so you're just like, what the hell is this? And you're just not meant to do anything with it yet. And you just gotta kind of accept that.
Have to sit with it, and
once you go to the kitchen area and figure out. Oh wait. Before that, you see him, the guy, when you set the combination right for the rooms, you see his door, the guy who's locked, door unlock. And then you see him eventually when you go back to the main rooms, and then you see him interacting with the kid again.
He's very spooked by the kid.
Yeah.
And he knows who he is.
Doesn't he call him like he calls him, I think he's like warning you about him, if I'm remembering right, and like basically like saying he's like dangerous, and
he's talking to Henry about the order, essentially, about this weird cult.
The cult.
Everybody's favorite storyline in the Silent Hill games that gets shit on all the time, but
never mind that 3 of the 4 original games involved the cult, After that, when you get to the kitchen area and then you go to the secret door, you go to this area and then you see the old guy again, but he's dead, lying face down in the waters with a very familiar marking, with this saying 18121 now?
21, yeah.
Yeah. And then you go back to your room afterwards. And then you figure out the pattern that you're essentially going through each of these underworlds and seeing essentially the victims of the Walter Sullivan case, essentially. At least that's what you figured, just from experiencing it 3 times now,
Yeah, like that's basically, at that point, like as the player, you pretty much figure out that that's the pattern, is like, go to a nightmare world, meet someone, and then they die, and then they get a carving on their back, and then rinse and repeat. But like it only furthers the mystery, and it adds like little breadcrumbs as to like what's going on with the notes and with the a variety of things. So it doesn't feel like the game's like meandering. It feels like there's actually like things going on, even though it does follow a bit of a pattern.
Now for this 4th area, what do they call it? This 4th area? It's just like the area outside your apartment.
Oh, the building world.
Yeah, the building world. Okay.
Oh, right. Yeah, but that's before the apartment world.
Yeah. You go for the same pattern, but this time the victim hits a little closer home, since it's one of your neighbors in the apartment.
So you see Richard Braintree suddenly fall from the sky
And he just gets up like normal.
No injuries whatsoever. He dusts himself off.
Yeah, he's fine.
Yeah, he's
Off from
fine.
this guy.
And he's a very interesting individual. He when Henry like extends his hand to for a handshake, Richard does not reciprocate. He just leaves him hanging, which I mean you can take that in a number of different ways. Maybe he's just super cautious. Maybe he specifically doesn't trust Henry. Or maybe he's like, well, I'm in this fucking fucko nightmare world. I ain't got time for pleasantries,
Could be worse.
But like he's an interesting dude, and we're gonna see him pop up, in this level.
The building world. This is where you see. Oh wait, I forgot about the enemies in the water prison. I think when you're going through when you drop down to the shower room, you see these very weird two-headed enemies. I think, which is very off-putting. I think.
Yeah, I think it's one of the best enemy designs in the series. It's phenomenal.
And all they do is stare at you and point at you. Like they're almost like statues. Like they literally do not move. And like you like as a first-time player, you're like you don't even go near it. And then you it's right in your path. You have to walk by it, and then it starts charging at you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love how that's the first thing you see, right? Like they emerge from the darkness. They're just pointing at you. And I'm sure a lot of people's first reaction was to turn around and be like, nope. Don't want that smoke.
No, not about that.
But yeah. We're talking about Richard Braintree.
Richard Braintree.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like his first encounter with Henry is very tense, I feel. And antagonistic.
He's very
I think he
aggressive.
even draws his gun on you, but he doesn't actually shoot at you. Not like Michael in Silent Hill 1,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Kaufman. Yeah.
Oh, but once he like figures that you're not behind these shenanigans, you do talk with him, but you do feel like he might be kinda an unstable person, at least. Not a very pleasant person to be with around some, maybe. But then Henry being
a bit off.
Henry being who he is, he still like say he should probably watch out for this kid that's wandering around, since Henry probably figure out that the kid probably has something to do with these victims now. Not that he keeps seeing this little kid running around these worlds with.
Like it's too much to be since at that point.
Yeah. But then like they go their separate ways essentially, and then you're basically on your own to explore the building world essentially. And this is where you meet the ape enemies essentially.
Well, wait, before that, so that location where we talk to Richard is actually very familiar. So I just posted an image in the chat real quick. If you pay attention to the lettering, it's the same. So you're actually across the street from your apartment.
Oh shit.
So yeah, like that building across the street from your apartment where it says Hotel South Ashfield, you're behind that lettering during that conversation with Richard.
Which does make sense, as one of the puzzles revolves around you seeing a billboard for a bar area near that area. So I think that is cool.
Yeah, and I think again that's just another. I love the attention to detail in this game, and that's just another way how the game like brings you in and makes you feel immersed in the world, and also it's a great utilization of the room itself. Where like if you are paying attention, you would pick up on them and be like, "Oh shit, I'm across the street." Good stuff.
Yep. Now for the building world, I do feel like navigation-wise, it's not as interesting to traverse as the water prison, I think, but I do think it is more interesting than Force area, just because like the Force area, I feel a problem is that it feels very flat when you're going through it. For the building world, there's a lot more verticality to it, since there's like a bunch of areas you can traverse through the elevators. and then you have to go through these multiple floors in order to solve puzzles. Not only through this run through, but also through your second time through.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then you also meet another new enemy, which is, what does the game call it? The Gumhead, which is just like these monkey-like creatures.
They honestly, I find them kind of comical because I think their design is kind of like, it works, but like, I'm sorry, they just sound like chimps. Like, it sounds like you walk into the room, it sounds like you're in a monkey enclosure.
Yeah, the sound effect for them is a choice.
Yeah. I'm not sure what they were going for, but whatever it was, it didn't land.
Apparently, some of these monkeys can steal and use your golf clubs and steel pipes against you, or even steal holy candles.
Oh, I've never heard of that before.
Cool. Yeah, that's what my friend said. So I just ran from them, like, oh, no way. Anyway, you're basically traversing through, and then you go to that hotel, like the bar we mentioned with the puzzle. You have to go back to your room and see like billboard on top of there, and then see that's the password in order to traverse through. Which I think it is another interesting way of how to utilize the room in as a puzzle in conjunction with the other world.
Yeah, like I said, I just wish the game did a little more stuff like that. But when it does do it, it's always very cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's very effective.
When you're traversing through the elevator for the first time, you see Richard confronting the kid, and you see he is very aggressive with the kid. And then you see him him alluding that he's seen this kid before around the apartment area, which make it the kid has been around to the apartment before at least once or twice.
And that's something I think really works well with the game is like it's part of the mystery. Like, what is this kid? He looks like he's 8 years old, and what could possibly be the significance? And how is he? Like, it's very at that point, it's obvious he's somehow behind like everyone dying. Yeah, and it's like a big question mark, and it's like one of the like best incentives to keep going. Yeah, you want to know what the hell his significance is.
Like what's going on with this kid. But they also see like Richard is very, very aggressive. Very
yeah, he's got no chill.
Yeah, no chill. Like, this is a very unhinged person. So you basically traverse through the area until you go to the area where you eventually go towards these like this tower room where there's a bunch of stages you climb up to. You go into Richard's room actually. And you know what's interesting? If you go back to your room during this area, I think you can actually see him in his room just resting.
Yes. And there's actually a really ominous message if you look through the peephole where it says, "You better check on your neighbors soon."
I think that was really interesting.
That was very unsettling.
Yeah, that was hype. It was like, oh shit, something's going down.
Yeah. Eventually, you go up the stairway into Richard Braintree's room, and then you see him just strapped to this device that's basically just gonna electrify him to death.
Yeah, the electric chair.
Yeah. And then you see,
and I gotta say that's pretty gnarly too. Like, I mean, it can be like it's right up there with Jasper's death. Like that's pretty.
Yeah, that's pretty
raw.
Yeah. You see him saying that kid is no kid at all. Like that's no kid.
Yeah.
He's saying it's the 11121 man, which then further the mystery more.
Yeah, and if you remember correctly, back in the forest level, there was a coffin that had that exact same number in it.
The way the game just has all these breadcrumbs that like has all the like so many things that might even seem totally insignificant and then just like blows up completely like later on, and the payoff it's just so good the way it's done.
Yeah, it breadcrumbs you expertly.
Yeah, like it keeps alluding to this past case, to the Walter Sullivan case, which just gets you to wonder how it's related to the happenings that you're seeing in the other world and how it's related to you now. and having to experience these cases now. And maybe it has something to do with you being trapped here. Especially since you see the name Bolter on your door, essentially. Anyway, when you go back, I can actually, like, if you go to the people, you can actually see Aline dressing up and going out for a party.
Yep. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
I remember.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like she had already like mentioned it earlier.
Yeah.
She was talking about like, oh, I hope my luck, gets better before the party.
Mm-hmm.
I remember there was one that stood out to me that was kind of funny. It was like you literally see her watching TV and she's like pointing at the TV and laughing. She's like clapping. It's like seeing her in that like act like that in her like, and it goes back to the whole
I never
like
seen
being
her
in the privacy of her own home.
I've never seen her watch TV in her room before.
Yeah, I don't know if she's like watching a movie or a sitcom or something like that, and she's like slapping her thigh from laughing. It's actually pretty funny.
Yeah, like I said, like there's randomized events. There's like my playthrough, Sword's playthrough, your playthrough. They're all gonna have these little differences to them because there's certain events that you can and won't see just because there's a random chance for it, which I think is really cool. It makes it like when you do replay the game, there's like you'll see new stuff.
You also see there's a certain plushie within Eileen's room, which is
the
bully.
Robbie the Rabbit.
The bully.
Robbie the Rabbit, who we first saw in Silent Hill 3.
Now, when you go to the Hove to go to the next otherworld, essentially, you see it's really, really big. Like, it's noticeably big now. Once you go through, you're essentially in the apartment world, where you see your essentially your apartment building enveloped in this red. I'm not sure it's rust or ooze, but it feels very, very offsetting. Well, and you also see this weird guy knocking on Eileen's door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very strange.
Yeah.
Something's wrong with them.
And what's especially strange is like you see the red rust or whatever, like it's like stopped around where your room is.
Like your room, it's like pristine. It looks totally normal. Just now one little section of the building.
Yeah. And then you're essentially exploring the apartment building now. And essentially, I think you're trying to get into Miss Eileen's room to see how she's doing. I think that's essentially what you're trying to do here now. And when you go through to the main area, where just the stairway area, you actually see the strange dude that was knocking on her door, and he's just sitting down, talking about how he got this doll from from is it Eileen Galvin? Is her last name?
Galvin, yeah.
Yeah, like how he got this doll from her a long time ago, and he's saying, "Would you like it?" Do you get the doll from him the first time?
The very first time I played the game, yes, I did pick it up, and every subsequent replay, I knew that was a fucking mistake.
Yeah. I was going to pick it up. I was going to pick it up, but my friend saying, So it's apparently cursed, I think.
I think it's a great moment because in video games we're basically trained to pick everything up, right? This game itself has been conditioning us, like you see something, you pick it up. But in that moment, if you really think about it, if you think about it from a logical perspective, why are you picking up this weird thing from like a creepy guy? What are you doing? Think about it from like a logical perspective. Like if some fucking weirdo rando person handed you a doll, you wouldn't want to accept it. Yeah, but because it's a video game, you just think, oh, you gotta pick everything up.
We got stuff,
and the game punishes you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're picking up health drinks, you're picking up weapons, you're picking up miscellaneous things. So like it's like, why wouldn't you take the doll? Like what? Of course you're going to. So it like totally flips your expectations. Now I knew about that ahead of time. I was warned by someone. I think I heard about it online, so I didn't take it. But yeah, I would have if I didn't know about it. But
yeah, well, we'll get into the ramifications of picking it up a little bit later.
Yeah, I don't know what the ramifications. I never picked it up, but you can tell me.
Yeah.
Oh, you'll find out in a second.
Okay. Anyway, basically you're going through the apartment building, going from door to door to see which is locked, which is unlocked. Then you eventually get to the superintendent room and then get the apartment keys, which allows you to explore much more of the apartment buildings, I think. Strangely enough, her room isn't part of the apartment key, so you still have to explore around. Now, I think this is more of a navigational dungeon rather than a puzzle one, like the water prison or the building world, I think.
Yeah, it's not really. I don't remember if I don't think it was like a puzzle area.
Yeah, I think the apartment world is like my favorite area in the game. I think it's really interesting.
Yeah. I think it is interesting, like
it.
when you can learn more about your neighbors through notes you find throughout their apartment buildings.
Yeah,
Especially,
that was a nice touch.
Especially in this tenant's room where you see paintings of all the various residents within it.
Yeah. And then when you actually explore each of the different apartments, like most of them are pretty unique from each other, and you can see what that person was like. You know, you had like the one guy who's like super into video games, but was also like ripped. So he had like a video game console next to his like dumbbell. He had like the one family that had like a bunch of kids. So like one room just has like a bunch of bunk beds. It's really
this
cool.
room where it's this avid soft gun collector, and then when you first go into we get a shotgun. Oh wait, it's a fake. Never mind.
It's a fake.
It's fake.
The way it humanizes the attendants of the apartment building, I think that's super. Like it puts everything in a whole new context because at first they're just kind of like nameless NPCs, but like when you actually do some digging in the apartment building world, it kind of like makes you realize like, oh yeah, there's actually genuine people living in the apartment. Like I don't know, it's very interesting.
Yeah. It because you never meet any of these characters, yet by adding all of this detail, it makes you feel like you know them almost. It's really interesting.
You can also hear what they think of other neighbors too. Like the soft gun guy's like, I have all these cool guns, but Richard got an actual real gun. He's kind of scary, man.
So he's
kind of
Richard's
scary,
cool.
man. Yeah. Scary and cool, man. And you can actually find a revolver if you go to Richard's room.
Yep. Which is the best gun in the game.
You essentially explore around, piecing together your neighbors, how the neighbors live their lives essentially through their own room, which is super interesting. And eventually find the key to Eileen's room. Unless I'm missing something significant that happens on between then.
No,
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think the way you find the key is kind of lame though, because you just like wake up in your room after you have to find like a specific note, and then you wake up in your room and then you say
you need to find a bunch of notes and saying where the key is, and then when only when you found it you can actually see Eileen's room key in your room. Somehow.
Your own bedroom. How the fuck did Henry not realize that he and the thing is like it's literally on the floor next to his bed.
Yeah.
Like I think it would have been a little more acceptable if they would have said like, oh, it's under the bed and you can't see it or something. But like it's literally like they're on the floor.
I was stuck there
in a drawer tucked away somewhere. I don't know. Anything but what we got.
I was stuck there for 10 to 15 minutes trying to figure out, well, what am I missing? What am I missing?
It was the way that they did that was kind of weird. But to be fair, the game's development was rushed.
What get me is that the note I need was like there were two notes on top of each other, but I didn't. I got the note like, oh, I'm done here, I guess. But then you have to press it again in order to get it. The second one. It was like, oh my god, you gotta be shitting.
Yeah.
And then when you get to Eileen's room, you see that she looks like to be another victim of the Walter Sullivan case. You see her just like bleeding on the floor, but with a bunch of wounds on her, with the markings on her too. And you see the kid just standing around her. But then she's not very antagonistic towards him, so you're not sure if the kid's the one who did this to her.
Yeah, and she says like, she says something like, "Hey kid, did you find your mommy?" or something like that.
And then you see her, on her back is like carved 20121, which I think at this point you realize the one in the middle is like an out of sign rather than an actual one.
Yeah.
And then you see like the water solvent cases, like all these victims had like, he's like building up these victims towards a specific number. For what reasons, nobody knows yet. But we do know that he's building up to something, which is make it quite a body count that Walter has.
Probably the highest death count in a Silent Hill game, honestly.
Yeah.
When you think about it.
Yeah. Lots of characters just getting killed left and right.
Yeah, dropping like flies.
I mean, like, this is like probably the most body count of characters' death you've seen so far in the Team Silent game, at least, I think.
And honestly, even after, too.
Yeah. Afterwards, you go back to your room, and you see, like, if you try to go back to the hole, it's sealed now, I think.
Yep, by that point, it's totally, like, like, plugged up and...
I remember happening it the first time, and I was like, what? What is happening?
Yeah.
What is going on?
Oh yeah, wait, before that, if you go back to your home, to your room, during the apartment building area, and go through the main people, you see the strange man just looking at you straight on for the people.
Yes.
He's just staring at you menacingly.
And honestly, he's pretty intimidating. Like, he's actually pretty scary.
Yeah. And you probably figure out like that is Walter.
Right.
After you go back from the apartment building and world and go to this, there's like a bunch of stuff at the bottom of your door, which you need to figure out a puzzle in order to build a new hole, which is in your washing room now, I think. Where your washer and dryer is. And oh yeah, if you go to your people, you do see there is another handprint, but it's a very faint handprint compared to the others, I think. Yes,
this is true because unlike everyone else, Eileen, not much of a spoiler at this point. So like, Eileen didn't die.
She didn't die. Yeah.
Like everyone else, like you can see, like pretty definitively, like they were murdered.
Yeah.
But Eileen like just barely made it.
Yeah. Like throughout this part, Henry's wondering what happened to Eileen. He's wondering if he can help her, essentially. And then there's this puzzle in your own room where you have to, not really a puzzle, you just basically have to use the succubus card that you get from the door in your washing machine, and then you see these 4 placards. And these are the placards you've been getting throughout the worlds you've been exploring. And then you put in the right one, and then there's a hole. And this hole is like the hole you've been seeing in the other world, but now it's on you see it on your side now, with the markings and all. And then when you enter the hole, you go into the hospital world. Yay!
So this is the official like halfway point.
Yeah.
This is where we find, I think, probably easily the goofiest enemy in probably the entire franchise, which is the Amazon looking,
the burping nurses.
The burping nurses.
The burping nurses.
Okay, so there is actually a reason why they burp, believe it or not.
Okay.
the idea behind their design is that their organs have been rearranged, so they don't have proper airflow, and that's why they're burping.
Oh, okay.
And it's also supposed to be. I saw a comment where someone said that when they first played the game, they thought the burping was really goofy and weird. But then their mother actually went through a surgery. And because of the nature of the surgery, whenever she tried to make a sound, it came out in this almost the same way that the nurse enemies would burp. So I don't know if the enemy was meant to be a reference to whatever that surgery was. It might have been, but yeah, he said that after that, because it was like eerily close, like he can't ever go back and play SH4 because like it reminds him too much of what happened, which is pretty sad. Yeah,
pretty sad. Yeah, really sad.
Yeah. I think the hospital area is where you also get the weird head imagery that Sword was talking about earlier.
You mean the giant fucking Eileen head that stares at you?
Yeah.
It's almost like revenge. I was just about to say that. Yeah, it's like now like it's like now she's the one spying on you. It's a very and the thing is you can't do anything in there. Yeah. It's not like I remember like being so I'm like clicking X on it to see if anything happens. I whack it a couple times. Literally, you can't do anything to it.
It's like a jump scare area, just like the room with the false trap. Like when you enter, you see like a spikes falling on you, but apparently it doesn't fall all the way onto you.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. I like it. It's fun how it's just a bunch of rooms. And some of them just have like an item or two, or you know, some of them are not a big deal, but then some of them are just like, look at this weird shit.
But yeah,
I think what's really unsettling about the Eileen room too is like, at first the camera angle is only facing the door where Henry came out of, so you don't see it. And actually, if you hear like low, quiet breathing, you can hear like a woman breathing, and then at first I'm like, what the fuck is that? Then you proceed, and then all of a sudden the camera shifts. There's fucking just Eileen, a gigantic head staring at you, and the way they build up to it, like in that short amount of time, is so effective.
It's so good. Yeah, you described it perfectly. It's peak fiction.
Yeah, that's the best. That's the only way to describe it. It's perfection.
The hospital isn't very big. It's like two main areas with you exploring. Like I think the most notable area is like this long hallway, and then you just keep exploring each door, and throughout it you see you're basically hampered by these like possessed shopping carts.
Oh, you mean wheelchairs?
Wheelchairs. I mean wheelchairs. Yeah, wheelchairs. And I kid you not, the wheelchairs is probably the most annoying enemy. Not here, probably, but in a rerun towards the building world. There's just like one area where it's just a bunch of wheelchairs, and they keep knocking you down, which is really annoying during that area. So annoying. But
they're pretty annoying.
Yeah. Anyway, you're just constantly exploring each room, and like throughout one room, you can also get this item called a holy candle, which is pretty important throughout the game. But yeah, you're constantly exploring the rooms, and then eventually you find Eileen, and she's alive. She's heavily injured. You see her have a cast, and you see that she can't really walk all that well, but she's still alive. And then
then she starts freaking out, and Henry in like such a weird way tries to calm her down. He hugs her from behind. He's like, Eileen, relax.
Chill out, man.
He's such a weirdo.
Yeah. And then they're trying to figure out how to get back. And then Henry suggests the hole, so they can go back to the room and be safe. But once you go in the hole, you see that she doesn't follow you. And then you figure out that she doesn't even see. Oh, she doesn't even see the hole, right?
No, she can't see the hole.
Yeah, and then she just see Henry disappearing. So they had to figure out another way to get through this. And then Henry eventually talks about the notes he's been getting from his from the previous tenant of his room, which is what's his name again? Schneider? Joseph Schneider?
Joseph Schreiber, I think.
Schreiber, yeah. And then how they have to get to the bottom of the code and the mystery behind Walter in order to get a chance to get out of this. So you basically go through all the areas you've been before, and basically you rerun through them, essentially.
Pretty much, but now it's harder.
It's harder because after this part, after you go back to your room, you find out that your room isn't the safe haven as it was before now.
Yep. No more free health refills.
Yeah, you're no longer healed.
And this is where I think the second half, as you know, as many problems as it might have, I think this is actually where it really excels.
Yeah,
that it takes that false
sense of security, the comfort of your home, away from you now. Like your home base and now is no longer a base anymore.
Hospitable anymore.
Yeah. Like you can still save, but throughout you going back to your room, you see strange happenings to it with various things now being possessed, which can hurt you now, which is very bad. Especially like there's a possession near your bed, which can happen, which can really fuck you over if you don't have like
you'll wake up from a nightmare and literally all of a sudden you're taking damage. Like what the fuck? Yes. And then there's a haunting right next to you.
Yeah.
So Peter.
Yeah.
Do you know what happens when you pick up the doll?
What?
So if you pick up the doll and you put it in your storage box.
Yeah.
There is a chance that your storage box will become a haunting.
Oh my god.
Oh shit.
Oh yeah.
So let me see if I can find an image for it real quick.
And you need a holy candle to exercise it?
Yes. And if you fucking leave it in there, if you're just like, oh, I exercised it, so it's fine. If you leave it in there and you try, and you come back, it will come back. The haunting will not go away, which means you have two choices. You can either leave it in there and just like exercise it every time with a holy candle, or it takes up a permanent spot in your inventory for the rest of the game.
It's like pick your poison.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's the haunting.
Let's see. Oh my god. The dolls!
Yeah.
Oh yes. I really think that's effective because now the room has become just as hostile as the nightmare world.
Yes. Like
it's no less dangerous.
The line between the normal world and the other world is very blurred now.
And it's reinforced by the fact that the hole in your apartment is now, it looks almost the same as they do in the nightmare world.
Yeah.
It's the connection between the real world and the nightmare world is becoming stronger. Apparently
there are some hauntings, like the hauntings are also randomized, so you don't experience every one of them. Apparently there's a haunting with the people that you get. I never got that. At least,
so I know what you're talking about.
I've gotten that one. Yeah, I've gotten that one a couple of times, and that one when you so when you first see it, it just looks like the people is bloody. But if you actually try to look through the people, you'll see a haunted version of Henry looking back at himself.
Oh no, I mean the other people. I thought that was like with the Eileen.
Oh, you mean
people.
Eileen?
Yeah.
I don't remember if there's one
in there.
Oh, okay. My friend said there was something in there. He said before.
I've never gotten that.
I thought there was I saw that one. That was really creepy. It was like Henry, like ghost of Henry.
I didn't get that on my playthrough, but after I beat the game, I looked up all the hauntings, and that is definitely the creepiest one, I think.
Yeah.
There's one really good one where the picture of the lighthouse or not the lighthouse, the church by your bed turns into a portrait of Walter.
Oh, I didn't get that one.
Oh.
Yep. That one's actually super rare. And there's another one where like when you wake up, there's like a shadow of a little kid in your closet.
That one I did.
Yeah, I got that one. I did got that one.
That was freaky.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it hits you like right when you wake up, and you're just like, "What the fuck? What is happening?"
Oh yeah. That's what I was talking about before. Like as soon as you wake up, you start taking damage, and you're like panicked and looking around. I'm like, "What the fuck?"
Yep.
But yeah, like your safe haven isn't so safe anymore.
That's right.
Yep.
I got the TV on the TV one. I got the windows.
The fridge.
The fridge. I got the clock. The clock.
I got the radio one. I think I got the radio one too, or near the radio one at least.
There's also one with the phone where the phone. I think if you pick it up, it says, "I'm always watching you."
Oh, I think I got that one. But yeah, like it's really creepy, especially like when like there's a chance of a haunting happening. I think every time you come back. I think.
Yeah, it's almost every time.
There is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like, especially this last time I played through the game, it felt like it was more likely that when I came back to the room that there was going to be a haunting than not. I feel like only once or twice that there wasn't a haunting.
Throughout now the rest of the game, it's sort of escort mission time because you have to go through each area. Eileen's now accompanying you, and how damaged she is, as well as how haunted your room is, determines what ending you get. From what I understand.
Yeah. So the more damaged she is, it can affect your ending.
Yeah.
But and it's also based on the hauntings, right? Like if you don't exercise the haunting.
Yeah, it's like 80%. You need exercise 80% in order to get a better ending, apparently.
Yeah, so like so Eileen's super damaged. You have a bunch of hauntings, you get the worst ending. Eileen is healthy and you exercised a bunch of hauntings, you get the best ending. And then you get like two endings in the middle based on like, well, you know, Eileen was okay, but you left a bunch of hauntings and vice versa.
Apparently, Eileen's health isn't just determined by her getting actually damaged by an enemy. It's also by leaving her alone in a room, especially alone in a room with enemies, where she gets more damage, I think.
Yeah, so there are certain safe locations you can leave her, and she'll be fine, and it's not a problem. But if you try to leave her in any location that isn't a safe place, then she will take damage.
So like this is the part of the game where I went from fleeing every enemy to actually fighting them, because like Eileen can't outrun them because she's injured. So like I became much more aggressive towards the enemy at this point, because you have to. Which is like.
And then you also got Walter Sullivan chasing you, and you can't.
Oh,
kill
no,
him.
not yet. The subway area, she doesn't chase you quite yet, I think.
No, you're right. It's after that.
Yeah. So anyway, the subway area. This is just a rerun, and this is the part where you need. If you don't have the subway token in your inventory, you have to get the subway token again from your chest. Because you need it in order to go through the room, go to the subway again. And
then we see finally see our first super ghost.
Yeah, when you go around the entrance area, you see the super ghost, and the first one is like this grudge-like woman character appearing. And like these ghosts are like the ghosts that can chase you from area to area, and they will keep chasing you until you're in another part of another world, I think.
And then that's where the sort of obedience comes into play.
Yeah, because the only way to actually render them not a threat is by knocking them down and then pinning them with the sword of obedience. And you don't only knock them down once. You knock them down like 4 or 5 times. Then it'll give you a chance to use the sword of obedience. But now this part wasn't much of a problem to me since I got my friend helping me, and he told me about the location of the sword of obedience, and you can actually get the first sword of obedience before the halfway point. You get one in the building world, essentially.
Yeah, I think there's 5 of them in total.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually the exact amount of super ghosts in the game too. Like, because each one is a murder victim.
There's only 4.
Oh, victims.
Yeah,
okay.
There's only 4 victims you experience, which is Cynthia, Jasper, Richard, and
Salvo.
Oh yeah. There's no 5th one since Eileen's still alive, so.
Right. Yeah. True. Good point.
Yeah. But yeah, like I didn't recognize that the super ghosts were the victims you see before until I got to the second area where it was obvious because of the burning ghost.
Yeah, because Cynthia looks like she's the Grudge or the Ring.
Yeah.
Like she's got like the long black hair covering her face.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although she's still wearing the same clothing.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to tell though.
I could tell right away, but I can see why it would be a little tougher to see like at first glance.
But after you finish that first area, or returning, to the subway, you are confronted with fucking Walter Sullivan. Now, as a ghost,
you see a vision of Walter Sullivan when you go to like the transition area, which is this winding stairway downwards. And like each of these otherworlds are connected by this winding stairway, and you're constantly descending towards the truth, essentially.
Yeah. But now Walter is taking it upon himself, and he's come to mess with you, and he's rough to deal with because he has like a bunch of different types of weapons. He has guns. He has a chainsaw. Like.
The first time, like when you're going through the forest area, and you just see him in this area waiting for you, and then you see him just aiming his gun at you, then shooting at you. Like, what the heck's going on?
And he laughs at you. He laughs maniacally at you.
Walter is basically your Mr. X, I think, or Nemesis.
Basically, yes.
And he's just constantly gonna bother you. Now, like, he doesn't appear in every area of the game.
Yeah, there's some areas he doesn't go to, but like.
Yeah, but he's constantly hounding you from one otherworld to another. And unlike the super ghost, there's no way to essentially deal with him.
You can knock him out. Yeah. And I think until you leave the area, he's down until you leave. If I'm remembering right, I don't think he'll get back up. I could be wrong.
I didn't know that. I just kept running away from him.
Yeah, you can knock him down for at least a bit, but he eventually comes back for you.
Anyway, now the subway was basically just a navigational puzzle, I think, with you having to find a special chest in order to get a token, which you used in the vending machine to get this lever that you have, and then you have to navigate away in order for Eileen to go down the escalator with you, where you experience the wall monsters again. You have to defend Eileen from the escalator monsters, which can be annoying. I didn't have too much of trouble, but apparently my friend did.
When in doubt, gun.
Yeah, like at the end of it, it's like, no way. I remember this being so much harder. But yeah, force area is much more annoying, I think, because you have to find 5 body parts essentially.
Yes, and you need to keep the torch lit. However, there is a trick to it where if you take the torch and you go back to your apartment, you can dip the torch in oil, and that will keep the flame lasting longer.
And the oil is in your your washing room for some reason. I was streaming this, and one of my viewers told me to just leave Eileen in that orphanage area, well, which will make it easier. So that was cool, I think. So I didn't have much trouble with that, with having to babysit Eileen throughout the areas.
I didn't know you could leave her there.
Yeah.
Or at least, yeah, I never tried. That makes sense.
So basically, I just ran through the area, trying to find like each well. Apparently, this is the one super ghost that you can just ignore. Since like Jasper doesn't really do that much of damage, and following you, like he's like not that annoying of a super ghost. Anyway,
yeah, I mean he's whatever.
Yeah, throughout 5 wells, you also go get this amulet, which is the far north, which you see the kid again, and have a conversation with him, I think.
So yeah, at this point, it's pretty clear though that this kid is like a child version of Walter.
Yeah.
You know, and Walter, who we saw earlier, the adult version, like he is responsible for the killings that have been discussed up to this point. Now
you don't know why he's doing the killings, besides like being maybe possibly the cult member, but why so many deaths? You know. Anyway,
but an interesting thing though is so in this forest level with Eileen, there's like certain writings that Henry can't read, but Eileen can read them.
Yeah.
And even more interesting is that because like if she's not damaged, she'll try to read some of it, but then at some point she's like, oh, I can't read the rest of it. If like the more damage that she takes, the more of those messages she can read. So if she's like fully damaged, like which basically means like she's almost possessed by Walter, then like you get like a lot more information from all of those.
Yeah, I tried to keep her as healthy as possible, so that's interesting though.
Yeah, if you're interested in the lore, you can probably find like a video of someone like showing everything that those messages say.
Essentially, you're basically going everywhere, just finding wells, and then getting the amulet, since that's the key towards going to the next area. And throughout, you see Jasper the Flame Ghost haunting, trying to chase you, but it's not that much of a big of a problem.
I do think it's interesting though, since Jasper did like burn himself, that the orphanage itself also burned down, which is cool.
The third area is the water prison area, and how you get to this area is really interesting, because like you're going like when you go
elevator from the sky.
Elevator from the sky. It's like what is this? Right. What is this? Dark Souls 2? The windmill elevator?
Yeah, it's Dark. Yep, it's Dark Souls 2.
Anyway, like frame one, so, when you get out of the elevator area, you see Walter just out there with a gun in your face.
Yeah, he's just blasting away.
Yeah, and then he has dual pistols now. Like he's just like firing at you. And I think I showed a sword the first time I see him in this area. I was like, what the heck?
Yeah, that reaction was pure gold. Such a genuine, like, what the fuck? Yeah, that's about as much as we'll get out of Henry.
Like, what the heck? What the heck? Like, he just shot me because, like, I still couldn't go to the next area since Eileen was still behind him. So I'm just waiting for Eileen to catch up. So I'm just catching all these bullets in the meantime.
Yep.
And health items are like much more precious in the second half now, because like there's no more free healing.
Right. Yeah. Right. Although the second half is a little more generous with giving you health items, but you still have to be careful about how you use them. But then we encounter our next super ghost, which is obviously DeSalvo. Now,
I think he's the only mandatory one, right? Because you need to get something from him.
Yes, so you have to defeat him, and there's a really easy way of doing that. At this point, you should have a silver bullet, so it's recommended to just take Richard's revolver, load it in with the silver bullet, just shoot him.
I think you need the pistol. You need the pistol to use the silver bullet, not the revolver.
No, I'm pretty sure it's the revolver.
I remember having the revolver didn't work. I had to get the change it to the pistol.
Okay, if you say so.
Yeah.
Either way, you need to use this. You don't need to. Like, if you want to.
It makes it much more bearable, I think.
Yes. Now, the last time I played through the game,
Yeah.
I decided to not use the silver bullet and to fight him normally. And I don't know if you saw the fight long enough to see this, but DeSalvo does a fucking Sonic the Hedgehog spin dash. I swear to God, he curls up into a ball, starts spinning, and charges at you.
That is amazing.
I was like, there's just, I love this game, but there are some like bizarre creative choices here with some of these enemies.
Like that, and then like we were talking about, like the monkey enemies, like that sound effect was not it. Like certain, just some small creative decisions like that kind of like raise my eyebrows.
And even though there is a reason for the burping is still goofy. Like I'm sorry, it still is.
It is like no, like I get it. I get what they're going for, but the no amount of explanation is gonna be able to get me to take it seriously. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but yeah, so you have to take him down, use the Sword of Obedience, and then take the key that's in his hand in order to progress.
Yep. Oh yeah, I remember like the exit area. There's like a bunch of those twin monsters around the exit. There's like 10 or 15 of them, and you have to get through them all. There's no gimmick.
Yeah, so that was a moment when I realized that your pistol has piercing rounds, because if you shoot one, any of them that's behind the one that you're shooting also gets damaged, which is pretty useful. But yeah, that moment was a pants shitting moment.
Like,
we were like, wow, there's like 20 of these.
Like, what the heck? Why are you all in here? Now, it wasn't too difficult when you have the gun, you know?
Yeah. But it's still like a pants shitting moment, because like there's just like a bunch of them.
Because like throughout most of the game, you deal with like 2-3 enemies max, maybe 4 if they deal with the dogs. You only get a bunch of enemies where it's like the slugs or stuff, which is really easy to deal with, or like the bugs.
Yeah, you just stomp on them and that's it.
Yeah. Where like these are like 20 or 15 to 20 of these like big ass twin enemies, and like, oh my god. You gotta be joking. Is there a gimmick to it? No? You just had to kill them? Okay.
Yeah, no gimmick.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Just do it. Anyway, but yeah, that was really interesting.
Back to the building world.
Yeah, building world. Like, frame 1, you meet Richard's ghost right away. And he has this teleporting gimmick, where he'll just teleport, appear right behind you. He's really annoying. The first time you do it, he will just disappear. You hit him enough times. He will appear again outside the elevator room, where there's a narrow hallway, and that's just making you panic, since there's not much room to maneuver, and you can even hit Eileen by accident. You're thinking like, oh my god, this is the worst place to have this encounter in.
I think honestly, I remember knocking him down immediately and just using the Sword of Obedience, and so I didn't even waste my time. I didn't even bother with that. I was just like, I'm not.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I had to knock him down 3-4 times before I could use it, and he disappeared before I could use it the first time, and then he appeared for the second time near the elevator. So I'm like, oh no, am I fucked? Oh no. But yeah, for the apartment building, I think there's a bunch of little navigational puzzles you have to do. Like, you have to find a volleyball and put it within this like basket volleyballs, or like find a cue ball and put it in a pool table, stuff like that, or to unlock stuff. And I think this is the last time where they used the Otherworld as a mechanic. I mean, I used the room as a mechanic, because like before, it's like the puzzle is you need to get the phone number of the bar, but they changed it since they were getting complaints of a weird call when they did the old number. So in order to get to the new number, you have to go back to the room, phone the old number, and then the operator will tell you the new number, which is
Like that.
It's a decent puzzle.
Yeah, it's a good puzzle.
Yeah, it's a good puzzle. Like, it's a shame, like, this is like the extent of the way to use the room in regards to puzzles. But what is there is cool, I think.
Yeah, I think a lot of it just comes, like, a lot of this game's issues just comes down to that it was rushed. And that, like, clearly, I think it was being made like in a similar time frame that Silent Hill 3 was being made, because they're only like a year apart from each other. So it seems pretty clear to me that Silent Hill 3 got all the budget compared to 4.
And honestly, that probably explains why you repeat the levels too in the second half. It's basically like the Devil May Cry 4 of Silent Hill. Ends up having the same exact issue.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh yeah, I remember if you didn't like seal Jasper, he returns around this area in one of the floors to harass you. Apparently, if you didn't seal the other ghosts, they also appear in this room. But I'm not sure. I only got Jasper. But yeah, that was a surprise. Like, what the heck? Why is Jasper here? We're not in the forest area anymore.
Yeah, some ghosts do crossover.
But yeah.
You can also see Cynthia in the building world as well.
Okay, yeah.
But now we're pretty much at the end. After that's the
yeah.
And then
because you don't repeat the apartment world.
You do repeat the apartment,
but then it's like
it's an abridged version.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I remember now.
Yeah.
You don't repeat the hospital.
Hospital. That's fine.
Now, before you go to the apartment world again, you go into game's first boss, which is these wall demon thingies.
Yeah. Anyways.
That one kind of sucked.
just hit the right one, and they all get hurt, and then you just keep hitting it over and over again until it's over. And
it's not even worth talking about. Yeah. Like, it's so nothing.
It's so boring.
So, the most memorable part of this for me is that throughout the entire game, I'm using an HD texture pack throughout most of it. The game slowed down so much at this point where I had to disable the HD texture pack in order for it to run normally. It ran like at 10 frames a second.
That's pretty funny, though.
Yeah. But that's basically the extent of how memorable this boss is. Basically, just find the right monster to hit and then just keep hitting it. It doesn't even change its placement. It just comes back down and then you can keep hitting it.
Yeah. It's bad.
Yeah.
Not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you go down to the transition. I think like you reach to the bottom now. And you go to your room, I think. And then this is where Joseph Schreiber, yeah, basically tells you the whole deal with Walter about what he's trying to do, of how he's trying to complete the 21 Sacraments in order to return to his birth, essentially. And you see how he sees this entire apartment room as his mother, because he was essentially abandoned by his father and mother at birth, essentially. And
he has been trying to complete the 21 Sacraments, which is a ritual that he learned from the cult, the same cult from the first 3 games. And all of these worlds and all these monsters, everything has to do with Walter. So a lot of the themes and the imagery has to do with his abandonment issues, his need for like a maternal figure that was never really there. So like I mentioned earlier, like, oh, that worm actually has some symbolism to it. That is supposed to represent the umbilical cord, and the room itself, if you think about it, represents the womb, which is why when you go through the hole, it looks like you're going through like a really big tube. There's all this like imagery of birth, of being born. Even like the very first time that Henry, when we bring it back all the way to the first time he goes through the subway level and he's coming down the escalator, he's in the fetal position. right? So the game is reinforcing this idea of maternal figures, of birth and birthing, because it has everything to do with Walter and the fact that he never had a maternal figure growing up. So because of that trauma, he is desperately trying to
go back to the womb of his mother, essentially.
Yes.
Basically, yeah.
Where he can feel like at least the most safe that he thinks he can be, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Because he's a home is a place where you establish your most like foundational like psychological needs, right? Like a place where you feel safe, a place where you have like a sense of control, and that kind of ties in with the gameplay mechanics, right? Like you feel like you have a sense of control, when you're in the room, right? The game even allows you to dictate the pacing of the game by how many times you go back and forth through it. So it all kind of like ties together through like the psychology of Walter's character and the themes of nature and nurture.
Yeah. And you can see he never had that. Just the way you see the water prison area, which you can see that he's probably raised in that environment of of how he was constantly surveillance, of how he was basically just treated like as another orphan to raise for the uses of the order.
Exactly. And I think that also ties in with like all of like the different worlds that we explore are places that were significant to Walter. So like the subway was because he took the subway to go and visit room 302 because he was under the delusion that it was actually his mom. The building world is likely like places that he loitered when he was homeless. There was like a period of his life in his adult life where he was homeless. Obviously the forest world has to do with the orphanage because he's an orphan. That's he likely lived there. Same with the water prison. And the apartment obviously speaks for itself.
Yeah.
He tried to visit multiple times. And Richard remembered him. Richard, thought that this kid was like this weird little nuisance. So it was like, get out of here, kid. And that also explains like all the different victims or people that are related to Walter. And he has like all these different grievances with them. Obviously, he didn't like Richard for keeping him away from his mom. Cynthia is interesting because he actually like propositioned, like he tried to like he thought she was beautiful, so he actually like approached her because he wanted to like be with her, but she rejected him because he was like this weird homeless guy. And Eileen, he tells the story where about the doll when he was like a little
kid, and then she gave him the doll.
Yeah, when she was a little girl, this was like an act of kindness. Now everything in the game is starting to make sense. All of the imagery makes sense. All like these are not just random victims. This is not we're not just going to random location. All of it has to do with Walter.
Yep. Now the way forward, like you don't actually go into another hole in order to go to the rerun of the apartment world. You actually have to go to your room. Oh, I mean, you have to like get pickaxe that's in this like rendition of your room in the other world, and then you go back to your room, and then you use the pickaxe of where the pickaxe was in that recreation, and then you go see through the wall that there's this body of Walter in there, crucified and all.
He's been there the whole time. So that's just a cool moment in and of itself. But what I think really sells it is if you were paying attention when you were exploring the apartment world, you should have picked up on the fact that everyone else's apartments are just a little bit bigger than yours.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. I never even thought about that.
Yeah, me too.
It's so good. But you're not really thinking about it, like maybe you might intuitively feel like, oh, it's a little weird how big these apartments are, but maybe you're not really thinking about it. But like, and then it makes sense. It's like, oh yeah, it's so good, man. This game is so good. People don't give it enough credit.
Yeah, and I am glad that the game's reception has been like more positively received over the years because I really think it deserves it.
Yeah, it's a good game, really good.
And now this is where you get the key of liberation from Vulture's body. And this is the key that can finally open the locked chains through your door. And you know what's the interesting part? After you get the key of liberation, you can actually get a third silver bullet. You know what you have to do to get that silver bullet though?
I have no idea, actually.
You have to backtrack all the way back to the hospital world.
Fuck that.
Yeah, I know. I don't know how someone discovered that, but you have to backtrack all the way back to where I think Eileen was, and then get the silver bullet.
That's insane.
Like,
yeah.
How would why would anyone think to do that and go to that specific room in that specific area?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
what the hell?
You had to backtrack all the way, so going through all the dungeons again, going all the way back.
For one bullet? Who cares?
For one bullet, yes. I don't know, like, it's not worth it to me, but you know.
I don't think it's worth it, period, to anyone in any circumstance. Why would that be worth it?
I know. It's like 20 or 30 minutes of backtracking, I think, which is, you know.
You would use up so many of your resources to get there and then come back.
Yeah.
It's not worth it, period.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that. Like, what the heck?
I have to imagine that was like
a joke.
Was that like a bug or something? Like, I'd rather think it's a bug because that just seems so random.
Because other than that, like, why? What would the logic be behind Team Silent actually like spawning a bullet there intentionally? Like, I don't get the logic there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It had to have been a mistake. It had to have been like a glitch or a bug or something. Like, there's no shot.
Some kind of oversight or anything. Anything other than, like, yeah, we actually wanted to see her.
I wouldn't be surprised if you were supposed to pick up a silver bullet there when you first enter that room, but the coding for it was bugged, and for some reason it triggers when you get to the end of the game.
That sounds a lot more likely than like that just being intentional. That honestly, like, they honestly probably want you to get that there and it just like didn't work properly.
Yeah, it bugged out and then it fixes itself for some reason at the end of the game. That makes more sense to me. I don't know.
Yeah, that's my head canon now.
Okay. Well, going back now, you can't find another letter from Joseph Schreiber in the washing area telling you about how you factored on this and how you're the 21st Sacrament, of how you're the receiver wisdom, how you literally become the receiver of wisdom after Joseph Schreiber tells you all these details beforehand.
So I think that's really interesting when you think about their occupations as well, because Joseph Schreiber is a journalist, while Henry is a photographer. So their roles in the ritual correspond with their actual jobs.
That's interesting.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, there's a lot of nice hidden detail in this game that like you really might not even notice the first time you play it.
And the note, it tells you that you have to go to the superintendent room in order to get
like the umbilical cord?
Yeah, the umbilical cord. Returning the part of the mother to the true body.
So there is like a weird thing about Frank Sunderland like holding on to Walter's umbilical cord. Apparently, this is like a Japanese thing. Like, apparently this is like a weird cultural Japanese thing that like holding on to umbilical cords is like good luck. Or something.
Okay.
I don't know if it's good luck specifically, but it is like there is like a deeply Japanese cultural rooted thing here. Like, it's not like a random thing that Frank Sutherland just decided to hold on to this umbilical cord for no fucking reason. There's something to it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, all right. Because I always found it very. I did find that very contrived, but if that's the case, then that makes sense.
Yeah, I always thought, like, for the longest time, I always thought, like, that's just super weird. Why'd they do it that way? And then I learned about that, and I'm like, oh, okay, fair enough. That's not something we in the Western world would understand.
Yeah.
You use the key liberation to open your door, and voila, your door leads to the final dungeon, which is a rerun of the apartment world. Essentially, you basically have to go to the superintendent's room. And at this point, the dungeon is very linear. Very straightforward. It's like very, like, there's not really much navigation to speak of.
It's just one shot through it, and then at some point you have to
and then at some point you have to find 5 totems in order to unlock the 5 chains that's on the superintendent's room.
Yeah, they're memories of Walter's dad being abusive.
Yeah, and essentially abandoning him. And, like, when you're going through the apartment world, you see it like becoming much more flesh-like. I think with most of the walls and
the walls come alive.
Yeah, a womb, perhaps, maybe. Yeah. Anyway, you're just traversing through these, and, like, there's a lot more enemies in these tight quarters, and which does make you a bit more anxious. But, like, it's not too hard, I think.
Yeah.
Especially you have the axe. The axe is, like, the best weapon, and you get that.
Oh yeah, I love the axe. The axe is great.
Yeah.
Like, you have so much invincibility frames when you use the charge attack, since you have invincibility frames during the charge attack. And, like, the charge for the axe is just this big ass wind up. And
it's like a good 3 or 3 second animation, and you're totally invincible. You cannot take any damage during it. It's like almost game breaking.
Like, the only time it doesn't work against is the ghost. I guess the ghost you have to run away anyway. Since you don't even have the sort of obedience and abundance.
Yeah, so it's not like you were going to attack them anyway, so it's not even really a problem.
It is gimmick, you no longer have hosts to go back to. Like, if you want to restock and save, you have to backtrack all the way back to your apartment.
And I feel like most people wouldn't be inclined to do that because it is quite a trek. So I think what you're intended to do is, like, you're supposed to go through the entire apartment and then make your way all the way back after you're done, and then it's time for the final boss.
Yeah.
Because in order to reach the final area, you have to go back to where Walter's corpse is, and after getting the umbilical cord, it now allows you to enter the final boss room.
Yeah. I thought the final dungeon would be much more labyrinthine, I guess, just from playing Silent Hill 1 and 3. Since, like, those final boss areas, the final dungeon areas, were like an amalgamation of every area you've been through. So I was thinking it's something like that, But it was much more.
No. Instead, we get like a streamlined version of the apartment world.
Yeah.
But Walter Sullivan, final boss, and I think it's
really interesting. I think it's much more. It's a much puzzle boss, I think.
Yeah, I think it makes up for the fact that this game has almost no bosses to speak of, because at least this one is really cool.
Because, like, what you're supposed to do is to put the umbilical cord on the main body, which is not the body you see Walter firing at you.
Right.
Yeah. It's like
he's invulnerable. You're supposed to throw the umbilical cord at the big fleshy Walter abomination.
Yeah. And then afterwards, you're supposed to get the spear from these other portraits around Walter and to stab him with him. And once you stab them all of them, he's then become vulnerable.
And while this is happening, Eileen is possessed, and she is, like, walking to her death.
Yeah.
And depending on how damaged she is, it determines her walking speed.
Yeah.
So if you're just really bad at the game, she could be at full health. You could have done a good job, but then if you're just, like, really bad at the final boss and you take too long, you could still have her die.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's you almost have to go out of your way to do it. Like if she's like completely healthy, you almost have to like do it on purpose.
But yeah.
Yeah, you do get plenty of time.
But then once you make Walter vulnerable, it's pretty standard. Walter,
Yeah.
Walter can flip kick you. He still has a bunch of weapons and he can flip kick you. But at this point, you should be well stocked on healing items and weapons still to just clobber him at that point. So like it's much more of a puzzle boss. It's probably the most unique aspect of Silent Hill 4 compared to other Silent Hill games, where most of the bosses were just like
You were just endurance tests.
Yeah, endurance tests.
Yeah,
It's pretty much
it's just sitting there and just like hacking away or blasting them.
Yeah, this is much more like you have to find out what you have to do. It's like,
you have to really figure it out.
It's like a much more extended version of what you have to do in order not to get possessed by the baby in Silent Hill 3. Which I think it is an interesting part of the game. And probably the most unique bosses of the Silent Hill game bosses, from what I've seen. But yeah.
Yeah.
Once you beat Walter, that's basically the end of the game. And depending on if you were able to save her and how possessed your room is, you get your ending. I actually got
you got 4 endings.
Yeah, I got the escape ending for my first time through, but that's because I had a lot of foresight going into it.
Yeah, same. I managed to get the best ending.
So yeah, best ending. Eileen is safe, and it's implied that like Henry and Eileen are moving out, and they're like, all right, fuck this place, and hopefully, it means that they're together now, and good for them.
I don't want the room anymore, even if the room is cheap.
Yeah, I don't want it anymore. So the 2 middle endings is, so you have an ending where Eileen is still alive, and then she's like, oh, I guess we can move back to our apartment, but then it shows like, ooh, the apartment is still fucked up.
Yeah.
And then you have the opposite where like, oh, your room is okay, but you let Eileen die.
Yeah.
And it has Henry waking up in his room, and then he hears the radio talking about how Eileen died in the hospital, and Henry is distraught.
I saw that on YouTube.
And then you have the coolest ending,
the Sacrament ending, right?
Yes, where you let Eileen die and your room is all messed up.
Yeah.
So even though you defeated Walter, after you defeat him, Henry suddenly gets like a huge headache, and he goes, and he falls over, and then it goes and shows what happens, what's going on in the room. So yeah, we see little kid Walter, and he's like, we can be together forever now, Mom. I'll never let anyone keep me away from you ever again. And then adult Walter is just like creepily in the corner.
Yeah.
And the radio broadcast is talking about how like the bodies of Eileen and Henry in particular was described like, oh, his body was like so disfigured, like it was completely fucked up.
And there was like also some more victims, right? The police victims. That's what I think.
I think you might be right that the police also died or something.
That's basically the entire game.
Yes.
Yeah.
We ran through the gamut of the whole game.
Yeah. Overall,
I do want to circle back. I wanted to bring up a good point that I forgot to mention, was when you first discover Walter's body in the apartment. For me, that almost felt like very violating, because I feel like it recontextualized that whole feeling of like feeling safe in the first half of the game. So it almost like it kind of like gets under your skin and like kind of like makes the hairs on your arms stand up almost when you realize that actually, wow, that first half of the game I actually had Walter Sullivan in the room with me the entire time. Like it completely reframed the way I felt about the first half. You were never safe. It was a really good feeling. Yeah. So I just thought that was a really interesting part.
Agreed.
Overall, like, I do think I don't like this as much as the other Silent Hill games in comparison. But I do think I did enjoy my time with Silent Hill 4. I do like how they utilizes the room in regards to being a place that you do feel the safest, and I especially like how they do a lot to try to make you feel intimate and safe in it, with safe spot, the first person perspective of the at least feeling of normalcy you get at first when you're just exploring through your own room, seeing the outside world through the windows and through the peepholes. And but I do think it is really cool how they slowly take that away as the game goes on, and you see your area is more and more corrupted, so to say. You see that your room was never as safe as you thought, and how your room is like how it could change slowly throughout, how damaging it can be. You know, damage to your psyche to find out that the one place of refuge you had before is gone now. I do think Walter is interesting, I think, in terms of seeing his Silent Hill worlds essentially through and exploring them. And I do think it is really cool to explore these worlds, especially the apartment world, and seeing like the inner workings of how your neighbors have been living, how the interrelationship that each have, especially this one asshole who like attacked a cat for no reason because they're really loud, and then you see the cat's corpse in one of the fridges.
Yeah, that's one of the hauntings.
And overall, like there are good points to this game, but then there's some really annoying parts, I think. Like, even though I didn't have too much trouble, like babysitting Eileen, it does get a bit tiring, especially when she doesn't run as you want her to run sometimes.
It is nice that she can't die. Like, at least you don't gotta baby her too much. And actually, there is a little bit of a trick where if you place a candle right in front of her, it actually heals her. So you can actually do that like right before the final boss. If like she's taken a lot of damage in your playthrough, you could actually like quickly heal her and then go to the final boss.
This is true.
At like full health.
I do think the inventory.
And I will say,
I was going to say the inventory system. I do think it is interesting how you have to keep track of how much inventory you have, and then strategically think how much items do I need at the moment, and how much free space do I need in order to get more items throughout the other world. Like, that part is interesting, and even though there wasn't that much of it, I do think the puzzles that realizes both the other world and the room is interesting when the game does have it.
Yeah, like it might not take it to the full level it could, but when it does utilize the other world and the room, like, and they integrate it, it is effective.
I think the room itself is a super unique idea, and I think it's a shame that more horror games don't use it as inspiration, because I feel like it's such a strong idea, and I feel like there's more that can be done with it. So I'm really hoping that like maybe some up and coming like indie horror developers or something, they look at Silent Hill 4 for inspiration, because there's a lot more that can be done with what Silent Hill 4 tried to do. And for being like the progenitor of this like idea, like it still did quite a lot with it, and did a pretty bang up job. Like, I think Silent Hill 4 is a great game. I think its flaws have been severely overblown and over discussed, and I think it's unfairly overshadowed what is genuinely like a really fascinating game that says and does a lot of really cool shit.
Yeah, like I said, is like the weaker of the Silent Hill games I played, but I still think it's a really good horror game overall. I just like Silent Hill 1, 2, and 3 better. But those are really great horror games overall. So I don't think it's that much of a detriment to say that it's the lesser of the Silent Hill games that I've played when it's compared to fair.
And even then, saying that like the first three are like quote unquote like better, it's not even like a knock at 4. It's more of just saying that those first three are like that good. And like I do think it does have its flaws, and I have my grievances with it, but I agree that I do think that some of the problems are like very exaggerated, and hyperbolic with how much people complain about them. Like, you know, it's totally fair. But overall, like, yeah, we can complain about the repeat levels. You can complain about you know, how they integrate Eileen into the gameplay and a little bit of inventory, things like that. Like, there's certainly things that are controversial about it, but I think it is easily the most unique game in the series, Team Silent or no.
Okay.
Like, yeah, there's never been a Silent Hill before or after that's anything really remotely like it, and yeah, it's just a really good game.
Yeah,
and
I will say it is probably one of the most unique games I played.
Yeah, I was gonna say even not counting the Silent Hill series, it's one of the most unique horror games I've played. You know, full stop.
Yeah, same. And if people can get their hands on it, I mean, I definitely would check it out. I think it's absolutely worth your time if you're a fan of not just the series, but if you're a fan of horror games in general, check it out.
Yeah,
like I mean, sure, maybe the characters like Henry's obviously not as compelling. Henry's like borderline a silent protagonist.
I don't know,
he's almost
not
a silent protagonist.
Yeah, he's not that interesting of a protagonist. But I do think the mystery behind why you're in these other worlds and how they are connected to each other and how they are connected to Walter Sullivan case and why it got to do you is interesting enough that I don't think it's too much of a detriment.
No, it's just I just kind of laugh at like how Henry's like almost complete apathy and indifference towards like no matter what he sees, he's just like fucking Joker from Persona 5 is more of a character than Henry. I feel like.
Overall, I think Silent Hill 4 is a really good horror game, and I don't think it's as much as a black sheep as people say. At least I don't think it's like bad horror game, but I do think it has its merits, and I do think I really like my time with it. But I can see why people wouldn't like it from some of the particularities it has.
Yeah, but overall, really good game and absolutely worthy entry of the series and worth anyone's time if you're looking for a really interesting experience.
Okay.
Totally agreed. No notes.
Okay. Anything else you guys want to add before we end it?
No, I think that I think we covered about everything.
Yeah. Great game.
Great game.
Go get it. Go play it. It's $10 on GOG.
Oh wait, no UFO ending. Never mind. This game sucks. 0 out of 10. Just kidding.
This is not a Silent Hill game.
I guess you're right. No UFO ending.
Okay, just kidding. Okay. Overall, I would recommend it. Seriously. Thank you for joining me, Swordfish and Daniel. Until next time. See ya.
Take care, everyone.